However, the building department has
Hi, my name is Gussie Sakowitz. I'm a teacher at Miami Beach Senior High. I'm certified in Family and Consumer Sciences Education, and I've been teaching life skills and career preparation for over 15 years. And I'm excited today to talk about hunting for jobs and searching for jobs. So on that note, let's go ahead and start with our presentation. Okay, let's share the screen. Okay, so this presentation is called Career Mapping. I hope you can see the screen, and if for any reason you can't see the screen, please let me know. So this is part of a journey that starts with where everyone is right now, which is middle school or even elementary school, and learning about who we are, what our interests are, the skills we need to get the job of our dreams and follow the career path that's going to get us there. So we started by discussing the importance of brand, and brand is kind of like reputation. So the better work you do and the better behavior you demonstrate and show builds your character and improves your reputation. And those are the things that will help you get hired and get internships and get into the colleges of your choice in the future. Then we talked about the different career paths and clusters. We learned about different groups of careers that might interest you. And this involved taking a career assessment. And if you haven't done the assessment yet, I highly recommend it. It's one of the most important things to help place us with the perfect job or career for us. Then last week, we talked about which jobs were going to be expected to do the most hiring in the future. So we learned a little bit about high growth careers, and we learned about careers that were doing the most hiring, but had the highest expectancy of growing in the future. And when I say in the future, I mean in the next 10 years. And so today we're going to be talking about career mapping. So in this session, we'll create a personalized map with a route that leads from elementary school all the way to your career. Future sessions are going to cover important career issues such as the job hunt and how to be a valuable employee. Having a career map allows us to see how all of our skills, experiences, and achievement contribute toward career success. And that's our ultimate goal. Now, if anyone, I'm going to go ahead and introduce a new term, but before I introduce that term, I'm going to hold up a couple of papers. So with each junior achievement lesson, we have some worksheets that are associated with it. So the main worksheet today is called Career Mapping. It looks like this. It's available in PDF. And so the next slide is going to get us started on our only vocabulary term today, which is transferable skills. Then after that, we are going to look at a career map. And the sample career map I have is to be a forensic science technician. And this is a nice way of looking at a sample and learning what a career map is. But ultimately, our goal today is to fill in a career map. This is such a helpful worksheet. I actually would recommend you print a few. You might change it. You might find you have information to add. You might even find that it's a learning experience to interview a parent or a teacher or someone else you know that has the career of your dreams and find out what their career path was. That way, you can get an idea of what you need to do to be on the right path. So that being said, let's go ahead and let's look at transferable skills. So does anyone know what transferable skills are? And if you do, you can write it on that worksheet. But an easy and simple definition would be skills that are used in one career that can also be used in another career. That's kind of our goal here, to have skills that you can apply to different positions. It also means that every single experience you get is going to be useful. So even if you have a first job that you might not want to do for the rest of your life, you're going to learn some important skills that will help you be better at whatever your future job is. And that's making the most of things through transferable skills. So please write this definition down on your career mapping worksheet. Now, Skills you develop even now in middle school are going to prepare you for the future, and just please take it and appreciate all of your skills and experiences. We're gonna have a little fun today because we're gonna play a game. The game is called Who Am I? It's gonna look at the lives of celebrities to see how their early experiences helped them gain transferable skills that contributed to their success. So if we were playing this in person, we'd want to get you in teams. But today, we're just going to have one person. And so the goal of this game is to try and find out who the celebrity is by giving away the least amount of clues. So the more clues I give, the less points you would get for guessing who this person is. So if you look right above clue 1, there's 25 points. That's going to change with the more clues that I add. So, who is this individual? At age 9, he said to his mother that he would someday be in the Olympics and would win gold for his country. Does anyone know? And the point of this is to see that this is someone we know, this is a celebrity, and already at the age of 9, he already started mapping out his career. Right, if no one knows, let's go to the next clue. The points are dropping. In middle school, he played basketball, football, and baseball, and he won awards for being the top player in his baseball league. So maybe the baseball thing is going to surprise us a little bit, but if you know about this particular, and I'm assuming we can all guess he's an athlete already, you probably know deep down that he has played multiple sports, with baseball being one, but perhaps it's not the one he's the most known for. Hint, hint. And now clue number 3. At 15, he failed to win a spot on the varsity basketball team because he was too short at 5 foot 10 inches. Instead of giving up, he practiced basketball for hours every day. He grew 5 inches over the next year, and he made the team as a junior. So this is an individual that never gave up. He knew what his career map was, he knew what he wanted to be, and he kept trying. We're not all going to grow 5 inches because we really want to. We all have the ability to keep practicing and trying. All right, clue 4, we're getting there, and you can see the image is starting to give some more clues away. As a senior, he was highly recruited by many colleges. He got a full basketball scholarship to the University of North Carolina, where he excelled in his sport. He scored the winning basket in the NCAA championship game. And I have a feeling many of you know who he is already. And the final clue, and you can see the picture, he went on to win his Olympic gold as a member of the Dream Team. He joined the NBA and was a superstar with the Chicago Bulls, leading them to 6 NBA championships within 8 years. He has also become a successful businessman and represents brands such as Nike and Gatorade. This is none other than Mr. Michael Jordan, known as one of the greatest basketball players of all time. Michael Jordan was able to transfer the skills he learned as an athlete, hard work, persistence, and teamwork into a successful business career after his retirement from professional sports. So again, this is a great model to follow. This is about someone that never gave up and had been trying and practicing and working hard since he was only 9 years old. So those of you that are following along and watching at home, it's not too late and it's not too early. This is the perfect time to start working towards your career dreams. I will say it is okay if your career goals change. Remember that term, transferable skills? You can always start transferring those skills and experiences to whatever it is you will be doing. All right, now let's get to the second person. All right, so for 25 points, clue number 1, at the age of 9, she became interested in musical theater and joined the Berks Youth Theater Academy, where she performed in musicals such as Annie and Bye Bye Birdie. I don't think anyone's going to guess based on that clue unless they really know the celebrity, but chime in if you do. Clue number 2, at age 11, she had an opportunity to sing the Star Spangled Banner at a Philadelphia 76ers game. She decided to submit demo CDs to record labels in Nashville, Tennessee, but was disappointed to receive only rejections. Clue number 3. And maybe some of you are going to start to guess who this is based on this clue, and also that the picture is becoming more clear. At the age of 12, a computer repairman taught her 3 chords on a guitar, and she was hooked. She would play until her fingers bled. Those 3 chords inspired her to write her first song, Lucky You. Clue number 4. At the age of 16, she launched her first single, Tim McGraw, followed by her first album, named after herself. Within the second month, the album climbed to the number 5 spot on the Billboard 200. And I have a feeling many of you out there can figure out who this is already. And clue number 5, you can probably figure out from the picture. Her second and third albums, Fearless and Speak Now, immediately climbed to the top of the charts, won her a combined 6 Grammy Awards, and earned her numerous accolades, including MTV's Video Music Award, Billboard's Artist of the Year, and Time's 100 Most Influential People. Who is this? This is Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift's skills go beyond singing and performing. She writes her own songs and promotes herself on social media. She also has sponsorships with brands like Diet Coke and CoverGirl. So as we're going through this, please think about a few of these individuals that we're covering. So we've already covered Michael Jordan, and maybe ask yourself, what did Michael Jordan do early in his life that helped him prepare for success in his future career? I mean, he set a goal at age 9. He didn't give up when he didn't make the team. He practiced every day, and he played basketball in college. What did Taylor Swift do early in her career that helped prepare her for success in her future career? She joined the theater company at age 9. She performed in musicals. She sang the national anthem at a professional game. And she taught herself guitar. And again, she didn't give up. Now let's go to the next one. And let's see if you guys can figure out who person number 3 is. So for 25 points, the first clue. She grew up surrounded by books and considered herself a classic bookworm, complete with freckles and spectacles. So we know the first person, the first celebrity was an athlete because of the clues that described his athletic background. And the second person had clues that talked about her musical background. So this one here is talking about books and literature. For 20 points, clue number 2. She dabbled in fantasy writing, and at a young age, when she was only 6, she wrote a book about a rabbit. And at age 11, she wrote a novel about 7 cursed diamonds and the people who own them. Any ideas yet? So for 15 points, clue 3. She got the idea for her first published novel while traveling on a train from Manchester to King's Cross Station in London, England. Over the next 5 years, she planned out a series of books on scraps of paper. Anyone thinking of a series of books that involves a train? Clue number 4 for 10 points. She submitted the first 3 chapters of her book to 12 publishing houses and was rejected by all of them. Finally, a small London publisher accepted her manuscript and paid her $4,000. A year later, Scholastic won the rights to publish the novel in the United States for $105,000. Any ideas yet? And for clue 5, 5 points. Over the course of 10 years, she wrote 7 books about a young wizard and his struggles against evil. Her books have won multiple awards and have become the best-selling book series in history. The 7 books were made into 8 movies and became the second highest grossing movie series of all time. Does anyone know who this is? Of course, this is J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling's life experiences have influenced her writing of the Harry Potter series. She based the character of Hermione Granger on herself when she was 11 years old. Her interest in Greek and Latin are reflected in the names of the other characters and magic spells throughout the series. So these are our three characters that we learned about, our three celebrities. And what did J.K. Rowling do early in her life that helped prepare her for success in her future career? We talked about how she read constantly. She started writing fantasy stories when she was only 6. She wrote her first novel at 11. She spent 5 years planning out a series of books, and she kept writing even after being rejected many times. So one thing that we learned is that all three of these celebrities started at an early age. All three of these celebrities had an idea of what their dream career was and was persistent in reaching for their career goals. And finally, all three of these celebrities dealt with rejection, and they dust themselves off and they just continued trying until finally they reached the career success that we all know them for. So this leads us to our next discussion. Well, what early experiences contribute to each celebrity's success? Well, we just discussed that. But which of your experiences will contribute to yours? And you might be thinking about maybe it's a sport that you're playing or a musical instrument that you're learning, but maybe you're struggling right now and it's only the beginning. And maybe you tried out for a team and you didn't make the team, or you're auditioning for a play and maybe you weren't able to get a role. Maybe academic skills, and sometimes academic skills require persistence. Sometimes we'll fail a test, but we understand the material better after we receive help. I know when I get a question wrong, I want to look up the right answer right away, and I'll review that more than anything else that's covered, and I'll do much better in that area going forward. So I'll always learn from my mistakes. Skills today can help you prepare for your future. So everything you do should be helping prepare you for your future. It's just a matter of you understanding how to use it for your future. We're not always successful, but if we fail, we can learn from our failures. We learn to keep trying and to change our plans. Sometimes we'll learn more from failing than from success. Early experiences are like points on a map leading to a career destination. Sometimes our paths change, or we have to overcome hurdles along the way, but all of our experiences count. So even now, I can think of this lesson and I can apply this to my life. There are a couple of things that I've tried out for and I've auditioned for and I didn't make it. And in the end, what happened was what was meant to happen. I was very involved in something called residence hall life when I was in college, and I was an RA, and I had wanted to have my own residence hall or dormitory, and I didn't get it. And that was for a college here in Miami, and it was going to involve me coming back home. I didn't get it, and at the time it felt like it didn't work out, but I was offered a much better position over at the college that I went to in Tallahassee, and that also was able to pay for my college. That was something that was a failure that bothered me and I thought was going to prevent me from going to grad school. But in the end, it was just a different path to grad school. So sometimes when one door closes, you just have to look for another door. And the other door might be the right door for what you need. So I am going to go to the next screen because we're going to start talking about our career map right now. So what is a map's purpose? So we're going to look over here and we have the career map for the forensic science technician. So why do people use maps? We plan our routes and it helps us when we're lost. So that's typically what we use maps for. And if you have GPS on your phone, that's what you'll use the GPS on your phone for. What would happen if you asked a GPS app for directions and the response was drive north and figure it out as you go? You'd probably get frustrated, you'd probably get lost, and you probably would not arrive at your destination because that was not a clear plan. Maps prevent us from getting lost. They keep us on track and they enable us to reach our destination. Career maps serve the same purpose. They provide direction and they help us reach the destination we want. And today, the destination we're focusing on is our career. And our career could be a combination of our values, interests, skills, background. It could be what we researched when we looked at the careers and jobs that are going to be needing to hire the most amount of people in the next 10 years. Okay, so it's a combination of any of those things. But we have to plan. It's not going to just happen. The plan will sometimes require hard work. Sometimes it'll involve setbacks, sometimes a little bit of failure, but we're going to stick to our plan and we're going to reach our ultimate goal. Okay. So if you're following along at home, now's the time that you would want to look at the career map for a forensic science technician. Now, remember, we said that this is something that can start as early as elementary school. And so maybe in elementary school, not everyone knows what they want to do, but they're using those, we're starting to develop those transferable skills. We're starting to see what classes we really like. We're starting to be able to apply what we liked in our classes to decisions we make in the future to select other classes for middle school and high school. So we're looking at this and we see someone here that wants to be a forensic science technician, and they were excited about this when they got their microscope and examined hair, saliva, and skin cells. They read a lot of mystery books and enjoyed solving logic puzzles. They wrote a report about pollution and had to include photos, graphs, and charts to show the rate of change in pollution. Now going into middle school, this student learns in science that using chemicals to indicate whether an unknown sample contained a certain substance was interesting to the student. Now, as the student is starting to move into high school, the student is planning to take chemistry to learn more about how substances and solutions interact. The student's going to also continue to use computers to write, calculate, communicate, and share information. The student is also planning for college. And while attending college, the student would like to get a part-time job working at a science lab. And ultimately, for college, the student plans to go to a four-year college and earn a degree in forensic science to become that forensic science technician. So that's the student's career map. So as you can see, when you're filling out your career map, you're thinking about experiences you had in high school that maybe triggered an idea of what you want to do in the future, or started showing you where your interests were developing. And if you don't know what you want to do yet, that's okay. Remember, it's always a good idea to take those career interest surveys. And even now in middle school, you can take a career interest survey and take it again in high school, and it's possible it changes. Our interests change, our experiences kind of form us into growing individuals that are constantly learning about ourselves and what we want to do. And this is something that's a personal topic. It's really about you and what you're going to do in the future. So that's why I said it's okay to print a couple of these maps. Your map might change, your path might change. I see that a lot as a high school teacher. So what kind of experiences did this student have in elementary school that contributed to reaching the career destination? Well, the student mentioned using a microphone, microscope, having an interest in solving mysteries. And then I can also ask you, well, what kind of experiences did the student have in middle school that contributed to reaching the career destination? And the student, referenced writing detailed reports, using chemical indicators. And then finally, a good question would be, well, what does this student have planned for high school and beyond that will aid in reaching the career destination? And the student plans to continue developing computer proficiency, knowledge of chemistry, and being familiar with lab equipment. All of these experiences develop to transferable skills that can be used for a future job, even if the student goes into another career that isn't necessarily a forensic science technician. So I'd like you to use the information that you received when and if you researched your career interest from a career survey and from the High Growth Careers website through the ONET website that we looked at last week. And pick a career that you think interests you, that you would like to have on your career destination. So you're going to start filling out this career destination worksheet right here. And so as you're doing it, I can prompt you to get you started. Now, remember, we're also working with a few worksheets. So yes, you're filling out this career destination worksheet. And yes, you can use the forensic science technician worksheet as kind of a guide to help you get started. But don't forget about this really good career mapping worksheet we have. We did cover the warm-up already, which is the round 1, 2, and 3, which would have been Michael Jordan, Taylor Swift, and J.K. Rowling. And then we talked about the effects of failure and rejection on these celebrities when we talked about how they all dealt with failure and they kept trying. So now you would look at the very bottom of this worksheet where it says activity mapping success. This might help you. So if you want to follow along with me, I'm going to read through some of these questions that will maybe help get you some information that you can use to fill in your career map. So the first question under activities is what sports clubs and activities do you enjoy? And this is something that's personal for you. I can read some examples, but really you want to think about the clubs and activities and sports that you like. You might like soccer, baseball, softball, football, basketball, tennis, theater. You might be in chorus or choir. You might enjoy playing an instrument. Maybe you're in the chess club. Maybe it's journalism. Maybe some of you are in FEA and you want to be a teacher. These are all things that you can write down, the clubs and activities and sports that you like. Now, the next question is, what do you like to do in your free time? Do you like to bike, swim, camp, skate, draw, read, write, blog, design websites and apps, cook, build, solve math puzzles, crossword puzzles? Do you like to garden? Do you enjoy spending time with your pets? Again, these are things that you like, and ultimately you want to find a career that involves doing things you like every single day. Next, what volunteer work have you done? Maybe you're volunteering at a business or a hospital or a school. Maybe you volunteer at a church or a daycare center or a senior center, community center, or a nonprofit. And if you're in middle school and you haven't started volunteering yet, that's okay. But you do know it's going to be a high school graduation requirement. You want to start thinking about some volunteer opportunities and community service opportunities now. And what I'm getting at here is you want to use every experience you have to help prepare you for the future. So if you have to complete some community service requirements to graduate, make it something that you enjoy doing, make it something you're interested in, and maybe something that'll help you learn more about the career you want to pursue in the future. And then it's going to be an even more meaningful community service project. Next question, what do you know a lot about? So what are you most knowledgeable about? Would it be computers, art, foreign languages, weather, endangered animals, storytelling, current events, or the community? Another question is, what awards or honors have you received? Athletic awards like an MVP, black belt, any academic awards such as the honor roll, art shows, performances, other competitions and contests. Remember, you always want to strive to do the very best you can academically, for community service, for any kind of extracurricular activities you're involved in. A good rule in life, you get what you put in. So the more you put into anything, the more knowledge you're going to learn, and the better the experience is going to be for you. And in the end, the more transferable skills you're going to get for your future career. So maybe you haven't been on the honor roll yet, and maybe you have. But if you haven't, it's okay. Now is the time to start making changes and try and get on that honor roll and start putting down things that you can add to an application or a resume. And I don't mean a career resume, but when you're in high school, you start putting together a resume sometimes for an internship or community service. And on this, you need to have some kind of awards or skills. So you need to start building those and collecting that information and start getting experiences that are worthy of being on your resume. Okay, so now I think we've covered the activities section of this worksheet. That's going to help prepare you for the career map. Let's go ahead and let's start with looking in the work section. Okay, well, what jobs have you done for family, friends, or neighbors? Maybe you've babysat, raked leaves, I'm not even going to read the example of shoveling snow because we know we're not doing that in South Florida, but maybe you've mowed lawns, cleaned up, helped at parties, and helped with seniors. Okay, so these are all good things to get you started. They're early work experiences. Have you had any summer or part-time jobs? Maybe you were a camp counselor or a CIT, which would be a counselor in training. Maybe you worked in a retail or food service industry. It could be your family's business or friends of the family. Another good thing to think about is, have you earned any certifications or permits? This is becoming more and more popular, but also appreciated when employers and internship providers are looking at your resume. Miami-Dade County Public Schools Department of Career and Technical Education invests a lot of time and a lot of money into providing certification opportunities for students because they can help students get higher paying jobs right out of high school. So these are great things to do. And if you're in a class that offers this or provides an opportunity to get a certification, go for it. It also gives you a special seal on your diploma. Okay, let's go ahead and let's think about some more experiences that let's talk about some examples of certifications and permits. It might be a work permit, a CPR certification, babysitting training certificate, a fishing license, maybe, and I know they do that a lot in middle school, maybe you have a Microsoft Office certification. You might be certified in a Word or Teams or PowerPoint or Outlook or Excel. These are great. Maybe you have some Adobe certifications. And if you're into like graphic design, it might be something like Illustrator. And I know a lot of schools are doing that. And if you're taking a culinary class, you might have a ServState certification. Okay, so let's think about the next question. Do you know anyone working in your destination career who could help you? So this is a very good way of learning more about your particular job, which would be an opportunity to interview people that already have this position. You'd learn so much about what the skills needed are, how to best prepare for this, how to apply for a job, what classes to take in college. Sometimes there's confusion about what the best major is. So definitely the best thing to do is to start talking to someone. Another thing, what subjects could you study and what skills could you learn or improve now that could help you in your destination career in the future? So think about those things. Are there certain classes in high school that will help? You know, if you want to be a teacher, we have the Academy of Education and Training at Miami Beach Senior High. If you want to go into business management, we don't have that academy at Beach High, but we have several academies in the career and technical education. And maybe you want to go ahead and focus in the hospitality industry because you do get certification for working with others. So you might want to find the best fit and then use that to help prepare you for the skills that you're going to be taking in college or a career and technical school. All right, so no career map is a straight line. There are many steps along the way to a career, and sometimes we have hurdles to overcome. We also have to be prepared to flow with the tide and navigate difficult waters with our journey. Michael Jordan played 3 sports before focusing on basketball. By then, he had learned what was right for him. So, continue to think about your life experiences as contributing towards a successful career. Even if it's not the destination you might not be imagining today. When you start to think about your life as a map heading towards a career, you start to see things differently. So hopefully, as you're finishing up this career mapping worksheet, hopefully some of the activities we just discussed in mapping success will help give you ideas on how to fill this out. And hopefully it's giving you an idea about planning for the future. I don't want you to look at this and get stressed out and frustrated because you don't have anything or very much to add right now. This week for virtual learning, I had assigned a resume activity for my students. And a couple of my students were worried because they didn't have anything to add to their resume. And I said, don't worry about that. The best thing to do is Google what a high school student resume looks like. And that'll calm you down a little because it shows you that high school students aren't expected to have all of the experiences and skills that an adult has. We're still learning, you're still putting things together. And if you're watching at home and you're in middle school, you haven't had as many opportunities yet, and that's okay. So think about what you have done and think about things that have maybe ignited your interest in any kind of career. And that's what you're going to put down. And maybe think about the career that you're interested in, maybe take a survey today, and then start researching the career to find out what major you need. And, you know, if you require a lot of college and you don't have, you know, you're worried there's not a lot of money put aside, maybe you also want to start focusing on building a beautiful academic history that would allow you to apply for scholarships. So these are things to think about, and you don't have to have anything set in stone right this moment, but you always want to start getting prepared so that you're making the right choices that are pushing you in the right direction. That's the whole point of this map. This is your GPS. This is your guide for life. It's giving you direction so you're making the right choices. Let's go to the next slide. So we did talk about this, thinking about the careers you researched, and we have done this where we've picked out a career to create our career map. So I know you've all at this point have either selected your chosen career or you're working on it, and we've all started thinking about those answers that are on the worksheet, and we're just filling in as many of these boxes as we can to help give us some direction for reaching towards our career. And again, if you can't fill in every box right now, it's okay. You can fill in some boxes tomorrow, next week, or next year when you have a better idea. And I did mention earlier that it doesn't hurt to print out a couple copies of this career map, because maybe you want to revise it completely next year when you have a different career idea. Or maybe you want to interview a parent or a friend or someone you know that has the dream career, your dream career, and start filling in the information based on what they've done. So we're going to start wrapping up, but the big vocabulary word that we discussed today was transferable skills. And those were the skills that are used in one career that you can also apply to another. And remember, it's never too early to plan for future career success. Okay, now I will say, and I've probably said 10 times today, and I'll keep saying it. Research and create I'm sorry, I didn't repeat this. This is a fresh idea, but I do want you to keep researching the career of your dreams. But a fun idea is to research and create a career map for your favorite celebrity. So when I was prepping for this session today, I thought, okay, well, why not think about a celebrity that maybe has an interesting career path. And so I'm going to bring up this celebrity right here, if you can see this on my screen. This is Gal Gadot. And I'm bringing her up because I have a Wonder Woman USB drive, and I've loved Wonder Woman since I was a child. And I think hers is a very interesting career path as well. We know her as Wonder Woman. She is our Wonder Woman. But do we know that she was born in Israel? And as being an Israeli citizen, she had to serve in the Israeli Defense League for 2 years. We know that she was an actress in Israel for several years. She's also a singer. She's also a martial artist, which makes her quite good at the stunts that she does as Wonder Woman in the movies. And she was also a successful model. So these are little things that if we were creating a little celebrity career map, we would put down several things for her. We would put down that I believe her first movie was in the late 2000s when she was in Fast and the Furious. But we would also talk about how she had studied acting prior and had applied to be an actress in several positions before she got Fast and the Furious. And she was acting in Israel. We can also talk about how she was Miss Israel in 2004. That was a way where she was working up to becoming a celebrity. We can talk about how she had done a lot of martial arts prior to being involved as Wonder Woman, probably as working with the Israeli army, but also in preparation for Wonder Woman. So she worked hard, and for that particular movie, she was studying sportsmanship, kung fu, kickboxing, capoeira, Brazilian jiu-jitsu, and she worked hard to prepare for the role. So I thought this was an interesting one, to a celebrity to talk about, because she had been working in some area of media since the early 2000s and really hadn't made the I guess, peak of her celebrity until about 2017 when she was in her first Wonder Woman movie. So, you know, sometimes we don't reach every single goal right away, and we have to find alternative paths. And sometimes we just have to dust ourselves off and try again, and keep trying it until we make it. Okay. So if you have a celebrity that you're interested in, research their background to find out a little bit more and find out how they did it. Or, you know, research the background resumes of just your average citizen that has the career job or the dream job for you, and find out what experiences they've had and how they've reached that career success. I'm going to click on this link, but basically this is another fun opportunity. And this is going to take us to the same website we worked on last week, but I love this website. So if you're tuning in for the first time, I want you to have a look. It's going to teach us about the costs of achieving our career goals. But it's going to, really, this website does a good job about showing us what salaries are. So, I mean, one thing, college is, you know, a great experience, but also make sure that when you are searching for colleges, you want to make sure you're getting a college that has, I shouldn't say affordable because they're all kind of expensive, but where the tuition is reasonable for whatever career you're going to pursue in the future. So for instance, I always knew I wanted to be a teacher, and while it would be lovely to attend any college in the world or the country, a lot of these colleges, you know, are going to charge upwards of over $150,000 for a 4-year education, whereas you know, as being a Florida resident, I am able to get the same degree for much less. Okay, so going back, we're at this ONET website, which I love. Let's hope this becomes all of our best friend. But we talked a lot about rapid growth and job openings in the future. I did actually want to go back to job openings, because we are talking about education, and they do have education here and teaching. So I was looking at this today, and this is just interesting because, you know, if this is the career that you're interested in as you're following along at home, it shows you the median wages as for 2019. But look, it gets interesting. You can go ahead and put in Florida here, and you can start to learn a little bit more. So in Florida, you're going to see that, well, the median salary is actually $37,000, whereas for the United States is $39,000. And interestingly, if you start putting in your zip code, which is living in South Florida, you're going to see that the salary is going to be a little bit higher, just because the cost of living is a little bit higher. So it's interesting, and it'll help you if you're following along and you want to know how much you would potentially make in any kind of given career. So let's see some other popular ones here. I think I want to go to the very top for accounting. I like this one because not only is it going to give us the information for salary, it also says bright outlook. And I remember covering that last week, which means that they will, over the next 10 years, they will be hiring several accountants. Okay, so it has, and what's great here, it's got all kinds of information about work values, the interests, skills of people that typically follow this particular career path, their knowledge. And I I'm trying to see if it has, okay. So it is showing that the percentage, the education associated with the percentage of people that chose to enter this field. And then it breaks it down into different related occupations. So that's kind of neat. But going over here, we see that accountants make about $34.40 an hour, but they'll make about $71,000 annually. So we're going to just click on the Florida button to see if Florida is similar. And lo and behold, the average salary, like I said, was $71,000 for the country US, but it's only $63,000 for Florida. Now, again, remember, there are parts of Florida where the cost of living is a little bit less. I'm going to go ahead and put in my zip code right here, and we are going to see what the average salary is close to that zip code. And this is unfortunate, but the salary is still less than the national average, but it is a little bit more than the average for Florida. Okay, so let's go back to the session. And this is the last slide that we have for today. And this was just something we talked about earlier, where I said it was a good idea to print out a few extra maps. But yeah, I mean, try creating one of these maps for a different career. How many different experiences are you going to put down? Are you going to use those same experiences and call them transferable skills for your second career map? Or would your second career map involve a completely different set of experiences and skills? And then again, you can create a map for someone else just to look at someone else's path. It could be a celebrity's, or it could be someone in your family to see what they've done and how they've reached the career that they currently have. So at this point, if you have any questions, you can let me know now. But I, again, am looking forward to next week, because next week we're going to continue with talking about careers. We've done our career map. We're going to start on our career hunt, and then on our soft skills, which are those skills that we need to keep the job we currently have.